Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another RF Crypto video. Today we're going to be speaking about the general market as usual. We're then going to be speaking about how a lot of short traders got liquidated after yesterday's Bitcoin and the general crypto markets bounce back up. We're then going to have a look at the leverage and how it is affected by these liquidations, and then a little bit about how some of the exchanges' CEO are becoming billionaires, how Brazil's biggest crypto exchange is trying to enter Europe, and how it's trying to dominate Latin America as well. We're then going to move on to speak a little bit about Jack Dorsey's plan to create a nonprofit Bitcoin legal defense fund for developers due to the increase in lawsuits against these developers. Also, the Republic of Palau, a Pacific island nation, is going to launch a digital residency program. Finally, there is a Cold War going on between Meta and other big companies on who gets the best talent to develop the metaverse. So let's get into it. So the markets went up by 2.5% today, and it's now standing at 2.04 trillion in terms of market cap. It bounced back following the dip from 2.4 trillion to 1.95 trillion. It's going slightly up, and this has a reason. It's because Jerome Powell, the Fed's chairman, said that they're going to do everything in their part to fight inflation, and this is a positive sign for the markets. Short traders lose $82 million as Bitcoin bounces to 43,000. So futures traders betting on a downside in the crypto markets, which is they're in the short position, lost over $82 million in the past 24 hours as there was a brief recovery in the markets. So they're betting that the price would go down, the price went up. Their margin calls were signaled because they were on a big loss and their positions got liquidated, and the result is that their portfolio went to zero. A lot of shorts got wrecked from the market, which meant that it's a bullish signal, which meant that the markets are against expectations of prices going down, because nearly 64% of all futures trades were betting on falling prices. And this means that the markets are reacting in a way that is bullish in a time when the Bitcoin price is going down. And again, this jump is due to US Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell saying that the agency will combat the current high inflation environment, signaling that the central bank may reduce its balance sheet at a faster pace this year. Also, losses were not limited to Bitcoin futures. Ether traders saw 31 million across long and short positions liquidated, while altcoin futures linked to Near and Dogecoin saw nearly $6 million in liquidations each. So this increasing narrative of more leverage flowing into altcoins such as Dogecoin and Near, and obviously other ones that will come along like Matic and Solana and Avalanche, will mean that the markets are going to become significantly more leveraged, which means the markets are going to be a lot more risky due to the fact that they'll be more sensitive to any news, they'll be more sensitive to any price movements, because as I mentioned in previous videos repeatedly, if most of the positions in the markets or in the leverage markets are long, so they expect the price to go up, and if the market moves in the opposite direction, these traders are all in a loss. The prices go down, these positions get liquidated, and the prices go down even more. So the more liquidity there is in the market and the more positions that get liquidated, the further the price will fall. And vice versa is also true. If the prices are expected to go up, and they do go up, they'll go up even more because it's a bullish signal and these long traders are making profits. Looking at the leverage ratio, it stands at all-time highs. You can see that almost $100 million worth of liquidations did nothing to the leverage ratio. It still remains at all-time highs. This is cause for concern, but it could also mean good news. It's cause for concern because in a volatile market where we don't even know where the markets are going to move, leverage is still very, very high. And if it moves in an opposite direction that the market expects, we can see huge implications for the price of Bitcoin. Just look at when in May, when liquidity got wrecked from the markets, the price of Bitcoin followed by dropping from the high of 58,000 to a low of almost 31,000. And this was due to liquidity getting flushed from the markets. Binance CEO becomes one of the world's richest billionaires. So Changpeng CZ Zhao, who runs the crypto exchange he founded at Binance in 2017, has joined the ranks of the world's top billionaires with an estimated net worth of almost $100 billion. And his fortune is now just below that of Oracle founder Larry Ellison and surpasses that of Mukesh Ambani, the richest man in India. Also last year, other crypto founders also enjoyed huge gains as the value of virtual coins rallied, with Ethereum creator and co-founder Vitalik Buterin and Coinbase founder Brian Armstrong both becoming billionaires. So the crypto space is making a lot of people rich. It's making a lot of people billionaires, especially owners of these big exchanges. And in future, we might see a lot more billionaires stemming from crypto, not only from exchanges, but from other platforms such as DeFi platforms, gaming platforms, Metaverse platforms. And it bears to see. The first step is exchanges because people want to buy and sell cryptocurrencies. And then as the industry evolves and as more applications to crypto comes into play and it becomes more widely adopted, the top dogs in Metaverse, decentralized apps, and DeFi, their CEOs will also join these ranks as billionaires. And also, the founder of Binance, who is a 100 billionaire now, intends to give away most of his wealth, even 99% of his wealth, just like other entrepreneurs and founders. So, parent company of Brazil's largest crypto exchange enters Europe with Portuguese acquisition. 2TM, the holding company for Mercado Bitcoin, Brazil's largest crypto exchange by market value, has agreed to acquire a controlling stake in CryptoLoja, Portugal's first regulated crypto exchange. Obviously, this still needs approval from the Portuguese central bank, but they expect this to go smoothly and approval to be given in the next few months. Pedro Borges and Luis Gomes, founders of CryptoLoja, will remain in charge of the company while also managing 2TM's expansion into Europe. And this is very important because these two individuals, who are the founders of CryptoLoja, the Portuguese company, they're already familiar with the processes, with the people, and with the market themselves. So it's smart for 2TM to keep them in charge because they will ensure that they'll keep CryptoLoja running smoothly, and they'll ensure that with their knowledge and expertise in the crypto markets in Portugal and in Europe, it will ensure that the expansion into Europe is successful. And the reason for 2TM's purchase of CryptoLoja is that it opens a gateway into the larger European market. 2TM's main aim is to go into the European market, not the Portuguese market only. Going into Portugal first opens doors because Portugal forms part of the EU, and it opens doors to 27 other countries which form part of the EU as well. 2TM will initially offer over-the-counter trading in Portugal, while it plans to include Mercado Bitcoin services for retail and institutional clients later, which include custodian and fund management services. Also, they're planning to not only go into Europe, but also go into other Latin American countries and become a top player in crypto in Latin America. They're looking to make strategic acquisitions to achieve the goal of expanding into Argentina, Chile, Colombia, and Mexico. And they're looking to become a provider of blockchain infrastructure for financial markets in Latin America. And they're also wanting to offer custodian and fund management services and other services as well to Latin American countries besides Brazil. Only in 2021, 2TM has already acquired several companies in Brazil and increased its headcount by more than 3 times, so from 200 people to 700 people. And they're doing pretty well. In June 2021, they had a $2.1 billion valuation, and they raised $200 million in a Series B funding round. And they're going to use this money for their product development and for expansion into other Latin American countries. On other news, Jack Dorsey proposes non-profit Bitcoin legal defense fund for developers. So Jack Dorsey, the founder and CEO of Block and the former CEO of Twitter, proposed creating a legal defense fund for Bitcoin developers as the community faces multi-front litigation and threats that have forced some without legal support to capitulate. And the main purpose of the fund is to defend developers by finding and retaining defense counsel, developing litigation strategy, and paying for legal bills. The fund is going to be free and voluntary for developers to use if they want to use it, and it will start a core of volunteers and part-time lawyers. Obviously, the fund's board will determine which lawsuits and defendants it will help defend. It can't just defend anyone. It will defend those developers and those projects that they see are worthy and are essential for the development of the Bitcoin network. Republic of Palau, which is a Pacific island nation of about 18,000 people, and Cryptic Labs launched digital residency program. So their digital residency program will have the capacity for internationally recognized standards of identity verification to ensure that Palau upholds the rule of law and their reputational integrity. This program provides a blockchain-based legal identification to democratize access to global business opportunities and geographic agnostic governance to aid in remote corporate information and operation. It also allows users to gain an address, shipping services, and digital signature verification. By using this program, they use end-to-end encryption, which ensures that the information is private and it can only be given out by its owner, which lets the user control how much location and ID data they want to share with others. And once it's approved, they'll receive a physical ID card and an ID as an NFT. And this will revolutionize everything because it will help with ID verification and KYC functions, because everything will be in the blockchain. For example, if you want to open a bank account, you don't need to send a copy of your ID. You don't need to go to the notary public to make sure that your ID is properly verified. You just give them authorization to check your identification in the blockchain, and that's done. It saves time, it saves cost, and it's more efficient. So it's not the first time that Palau is venturing into the blockchain. For example, in November 2021, this island nation announced a partnership with Ripple, which is a fintech company, to develop an environmentally friendly digital currency to assist in cross-border payments. So this would be a US dollar-backed digital currency, so it will be pegged to the dollar to facilitate cross-border payments, and Ripple would support Palau with technical, business, design, and policy support, meanwhile exploring a USD-backed stablecoin and associated use cases on the XRP ledger could provide a viable alternative to CBDC for countries like Palau. Finally, Meta poaches staff from Microsoft and Apple for Metaverse plans. According to former employees of Microsoft, around 100 people have ditched the tech giant's augmented reality team over the past year to join Meta platforms. They claim that Meta has been particularly focused on snapping up people who have worked on Microsoft HoloLens augmented reality headsets. And I think there is a cold war going on between these major tech giants, because in terms of getting the best talent to develop the metaverse, because Apple is also attempting to counteract an employee exodus to Meta from Microsoft by offering lucrative stock options and bonuses worth between $50,000 and $180,000. And in late December 2021, the company offered the bonuses to a group of engineers in silicon design, hardware, and some software operation workers. And it just goes to show that the metaverse is here to stay. Even the biggest companies in the world, Apple, with a market cap of $3 trillion, is looking to expand into the metaverse, and it's looking to hire the top talent in order to develop metaverse projects and in order to develop their integration into the blockchain. As you know, Facebook recently changed their name from Facebook to Meta in order to focus more on the metaverse, in order to focus more on the digital world. But there has been a lot of criticism of Mark Zuckerberg leading Facebook into the metaverse due to his history and Facebook's history of data mining, privacy, and content policies. If you don't know, Facebook has been accused of selling their users' information to advertisers and have no concern for their users' privacies. And it's not only Apple and Meta that are focused on the metaverse. Microsoft are also heavily focused despite losing so many of their top talent. In early November 2021, Microsoft announced a slew of Teams updates and upgrades to its Xbox gaming console, along with a new product called Dynamic 365 Connected Spaces, which is a step towards the metaverse. Satya Nadella, Microsoft CEO, stated that the metaverse enables us to embed computing into real world and to embed the real world into computing. It goes to show that there's a lot of belief in Microsoft that the metaverse is here to stay and is the future. And Bill Gates previously said that 2/3 of all meetings in a couple of years' time will take place on the metaverse. So we'll see how these big companies develop the metaverse. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be different from everyone else because they have the money to fund it and they have the expertise to create something really unique. And with that, we come to the end of today's video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like. Please hit the subscribe button. Share this video with your family and friends. And I'll see you for the next one. Invest wisely and cheers.